Hey guys, Linkyak here. Just kind of doing a little update on what I'm doing here, where I'm at on this L79. I'm slowly getting stuff cleaned up. As you can see, I got the oil pan. Oil pan looks a little different than it used to with all the schmegma in the bottom of it. Cleaning up, I'll have to go over it again, just give it one final going over before I paint it. I don't want the paint to stick. If you look, this is something that's a little interesting, I think. See that? That front lip. It looks like somebody has brazed that in on the pan. Added to it probably, because if you look on this side of it, it doesn't look like it's damaged or anything. So I'm thinking some dealership hotshot, because this thing has had the short block replaced, I believe, probably at the dealership. Somebody brazed that in there before they put this pan on. You see how they did that there? Interesting, huh? Maybe they wanted to make sure it doesn't leak. That would be my guess. And it didn't leak. Not from around, it leaked from the front shaft seal a little bit. But the oil pan itself, it looked like, but that was, they used silicone on it too, for whatever they had back then, in conjunction with the rubber insert that goes in the on the saddle on the timing case cover. But so anyways, that's kind of interesting. Hope she holds oil and doesn't leak. Looks like it should. Pan appears to be in pretty decent shape. But this is where I'm at on the engine itself. First, you can see I cleaned up the timing case cover. Now I was going to put a new timing case cover on it, and I'll show you why. I ordered one, but this is what they sent me. And as you can see, that is not the same. That's the original. And this is some, but this is not going to work. Functionally, this will not work for me. And I'll tell you why here in a second. So I'm going to, I straightened up the timing case cover as best I could. It should seal up. So, like I say, a little at a time, I'm putting this back together. And of course, there's the, there's your gasket. I've been kind of dummying everything up. But what I've done is, as you can see, I took out and I replaced the original factory timing set. It's just a standard timing set, not one that they would put into any of their small blocks. And a couple of things about this setup is this. Let me show you. First, the crankshaft sprocket. I don't know. I don't think this is sitted iron. I think back in those days when they built these things originally, they were actually steel. Probably broached or something. I think so. I think that's a steel gear. This thing only has low miles. I'm thinking about 42,000 miles on this engine. And of course, too, this gear is pretty much pressed on to the crankshaft. And a couple of different ways to get it off is some people will kind of grind on it or whatever and split it so that it will come loose and then they can slide it off. But the way you really want to do it is, of course, you need to get yourself a puller. That's what this one is for. To pull that gear off of there without doing any damage to it. And then, of course, one of the this is an aluminum center, a hub, with the teeth being of a nylon nature. And Chevrolet did that to, I guess, for noise reduction. But what happens is they wear, and if you get a lot of miles on them, those teeth will chip off, and then things get loose and sloppy in there, and then your Chevy runs like an old tired piece of junk because the camshaft has become so advanced it's, you know, no longer in its range. But what happens on them is that between the chain stretch and that nylon gear wearing, you start to get a lot of slop in the chain. And then, of course, that changes your cam timing in relation to the crankshaft. This one, as you can see, I put a Cloy's double roller sprockets on it and chain, of course. And I've put it on with the just the normal timing of the cam and the crank. I've also going to incorporate a what's called a cam button, and what that is it's just in there to, it holds the camshaft back into the block so it doesn't oscillate back and forth. With this closed chain, it probably wouldn't much anyways, but they incorporate it with a Torrington roller bearing in there, or what some people call a flat roller bearing, and it'll just hold that camshaft back against its bearing surface between the cam and that timing gear. And what that does is that I think it helps alleviate a little wear on the valve train, and it doesn't cause, it causes less spark scatter through the distributor, because as that thing moves back and forth a little bit, it'll change its relationship to the camshaft gear, or I mean to the distributor gear. So anyways, and of course, one thing that a lot of people miss on doing timing gears on small block chibbies is they tell you to put the gears in with this, your bottom mark straight up and your top mark straight down, so that they're right together. And they do that so that you know you're getting the cam and the crankshaft timed properly. But what a lot of people don't realize when they do that is they think when this mark is up on the crankshaft and the timing mark on the cam gear is down, that it's top dead center on number 1 cylinder, and it is not. So when they think that, they end up putting the distributor in at top dead center, number 1 cylinder. They go to fire it up, and all they get is a bunch of farting and backfiring because they had the distributor out 180 degrees. So what you got to do is, after you put it in, you need to rotate it one turn clockwise, so that that timing mark comes up on top, so both of them are on top, and then you will be on top dead center, number 1 cylinder. So something I've seen several people have issues with over the years. But so that's where we're at on it. I'm gonna have to get some parts ordered for it. I'm gonna have to mask all this off, and I'll wash the whole thing down one more time, probably with some brake clean, get it all as clean as I can so it'll hold paint. And I'll put the pan and the timing case cover on it and paint it, and it'll all be really orange. And then something, I think this one, although the crankshaft is threaded for a crankshaft bolt for the damper, I think these early models didn't put a bolt in there. I think they relied on the press fit of the damper just coming flush and pushing everything tight then and with the keyway and to hold it in place. But I think later model ones, I think they actually started putting a crank bolt in there, which I may end up doing on this. I don't know why, probably be okay, but if I get a crank bolt for it, I'll put it in. But okay guys, that's pretty much about it where I'm at now. Thanks for watching.